Hey everyone! Today we're going to be working on a Ramadan calendar, and this is the finished project. And just to forewarn you, the video did cut out before I was able to finish this project, so the ending just has some still shots of the project, so I do apologize for that. Here are some felt squares that are 18 inches by 18 inches. They are from achildsdream.com, and they come in a variety of colors. And these ones are called premium all wool felt, and they are pre-cut. And then I had a bunch of small ones there that you might have seen a second ago. Anyway, this is the metallic thread in gold and silver. It's also from achildsdream.com. These are wood veneer numbers. It's from Freckled Fawn, and there are 31, and for this project we're only going to need 30 of them. But these ones are really great because they are pre-cut, they're circular, they're easy to adhere, they're just one piece per number, and they retail for about $4.50 for a package. And these ones are some wooden tags that we ended up not using for this project. I was undecided whether or not I was going to use the Freckled Fawn numbers or these numbers that came in a package with letters. They are a Recollection brand from Michaels. So you'll see a part where I kind of go back and forth between the two numbers later on in the project. So these ones, I'm just showing you some of the other things that we'll need for the project. This is a template that I'm using to cut the little squares for each pocket of the calendar. And I am just using a pencil to mark off my template on a piece of wool felt. That wool felt is Holland wool felt, and it comes in squares that are about 12 inches by 12 inches in a variety of colors. And I just started cutting up in advance from this project. I cut up a bunch of squares when I had some time, and just in a variety of colors, and I wasn't sure which colors we were going to use, and you'll see later on how I'm trying to decide how we're going to assemble the colors. So I just cut up a bunch of them ahead of time and added those two in there to show you how I just used a template that I just made myself with some chipboard paper. Now I'm getting out the large backing for the calendar. I had two blues to choose from, and I thought I was going to use the lighter color blue, and then I changed my mind and I used the darker blue. And that backing is 18 inches by 18 inches, so it's not huge, so my pockets have to be quite small. Plus, we sew the pockets on, so then that even makes the size of whatever you're going to put in the pockets quite small as well. But at least this is something that hangs on your wall and doesn't take up too much space, so that's kind of convenient. So it took me a while to figure out which squares were going to go where, and for a moment there I thought that I had miscalculated the size of the squares or the size of the backing. And then I realized I just needed to kind of squish those little pockets a little bit closer together. So here I am just trying to decide what colors are going to go where, and this process did take me a while. I wanted it in somewhat of a cascading rainbow effect, and I couldn't quite decide where all the colors were going to go. So I left this all in pretty much. I did speed it up so you could see the process. When it's done, it seems like it was so easy, but getting there did take a little while, and I did second guess myself a few times, but it all kind of comes together at some point, which is good. So it does make it easy to have all of these pre-cut, like to have excess amounts of squares pre-cut so that you can kind of change the colors around and move them around and not be so tight with only just 30 squares. So I think by the end of it I had cut probably maybe 70 squares, and I did two calendars. So now I've put all the numbers down, and I did try out two of those other Recollection numbers, and I ended up not liking them, so I stuck with the Freckled Fawn letters, or rather the numbers. And now I'm using some straight pins to keep all the little squares in place so that I can sew the whole project together. So I removed the numbers. Once I knew where to put them all, I removed all the numbers. I kept them in order so that when I finally had to glue them down, it wouldn't be so difficult. And this process of pinning down the pockets did take a while. It's not exactly my favorite part of the whole process. And I did pick myself so many times, especially while sewing. I don't know, I'm not such a great seamstress, and managed to hurt my little fingers in the process. Okay, so the video is going to cut out in a minute. I do manage to get this over to my sewing machine, and because I'm using metallic thread, I did take out the sewing needle and change it with a metallic sewing needle, and that helps with the thread. However, this thread was really difficult to use. It kept breaking, and I finally just switched it out to just different threads that matched the pockets rather than struggling through with the metallic thread, which was really difficult to use on felt. So here I am with my sewing machine sewing each pocket, and once I switched out the thread and I used just regular thread, the process was so much faster, and I was able to do 2 calendars pretty quickly. So here is the calendar with the pockets filled, and I cut with my Silhouette Cameo these little tabs that could go into the pockets. They have little tabs on the little squares, basically, and these little pockets you can write down all the duas that you want to make during Ramadan or any time of the year. And this is the calendar that I had made the previous year, and the little pockets had little Sahaba stories that my then 13-year-old had written down, and I typed up for him. And then you had to guess who the Sahaba was, and there were 30 of those, so one for every pocket for the whole month of Ramadan. And those I also cut using the Silhouette Cameo. And I printed them out first, and then I cut them. So they fit into the pockets pretty well. I just had to measure it to make sure that they were small enough to fit in the pocket. So by the end of it, I had a total of 4 calendars, 2 that I had made the previous year and 2 that I was able to make this year. And every year from now on, I hope to make new little cards to fill into the pockets. Thanks for watching!